Hi everybody, this is Nancy from Natureworks. It's Thursday afternoon in October and it's time for me to teach you a few things about a easy peasy weekend project that you can accomplish in just a few hours. This is a very small section of one of our Natureworks demonstration gardens, and I had one of my assistants, Austin, dig this out for me to prepare it. And what he did was he dug out a lot of plants that had been spreading and seeding in, and then he dug up a really old peony called Sword Dance, and we divided the peony. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to replant a peony. So this is a good sized chunk of an old peony root, and he dug down deep and the root was very large, and so I feathered it apart with my hands and the tip of a hori-hori knife. And this is called an eye. And that's the new growth on the peony. And there's quite a few eyes on this section. If you have a small section with just one eye, then it won't give you as many flowers. But this will give us lots of flowers this year. So the important thing about planting a peony is you can't plant it too deep. In Connecticut, the eye needs to be no deeper than 2 to 3 inches below the soil. It's too cold here to have the eye at soil level. So I have just prepared this hole so that the eye can be in its proper place. And you'll also note that there's a lot of roots that are kind of like forked roots, almost like ginseng or something like that. So when you go to plant it, you want to put soil underneath those roots. You don't want any air holes. And if you have valuable peonies that you've gotten from somebody, it's really worth doing it right. So what you want to do is you want to find the soil level, not the soil level where you've excavated, but the actual soil level, and put a board across or a stick across. Then take a yardstick and make sure that those eyes are no lower than 2 to 3 inches. So when the soil is covering this is just at 2 inches. It could go down just a wee, but no deeper. Not on the soil surface and not too deep. So and then what we use to feed it, besides compost, whenever you're renovating, always use that opportunity to put some of our wonderful Coast of Maine lobster compost in the hole, and ProGrow. But my friend at Cricket Hill said always use azomite with peonies, which is a mineral powder. So that's what we're going to do. So basically, we're taking the soil, we're feathering it in throughout the roots so we're not leaving any air holes, okay? And once you've added soil a little bit of the way to make sure there's no pockets, you take water and you water it in, and it'll go down a little more into those roots. It's really worth doing a good job, especially because most of the people I talk to that have peonies that they're planting have gotten them from their mother, their grandmother, their aunt, their best friend. So you want to take the time to do it right. The best time to do a peony is fall, right now. The second best time is next month. You can do it in the spring. I have done it in the spring. But you have to make sure you get really all the roots in the spring, or else it'll really set it back. So we're just going to keep adding soil, feathering it in until we cover it up to within 2 inches of the top of the soil level. Now, the next thing you do after you've planted it is you label it. And these are our permanent metal markers. And we use this oil-based pen. Don't use a Sharpie, it won't work, okay? So once I've finished planting this, I will label it. It's a pet peeve of mine that the plants that go into the Natureworks gardens don't get labeled, because people come here and they go, oh, what's that? I want that. and you're like, I have no clue. It was put in 10 years ago and we don't know what it is. So we don't have it for sale because we don't know what it is. So that's how we work it now. So we're going to keep on adding the soil until this is full, right up to soil level, 2 inches deep. That's the rule, okay? And it's amazing how many rocks come out of the garden after 10 years, right? So once you've planted your peony and watered it and labeled it, then you can move on to your next project in this little quickie weekend project, which is to add some more stuff that's going to help you with your succession of bloom in this particular garden bed. So what I did was we took out a lot of spready asters, spready goldenrods, things that had just gotten too big over time. And then I picked out some plants that were going to help me get more color at this time of year. This is a wonderful variety of willow leaf sunflower. And you'll say, well, that looks silly back there. It's really short. This actually grows to 6 feet tall, 5 to 6 feet tall. And you can see up close that the crown of this is already starting to grow. So I dug the hole. I'll amend the hole with compost ProGrow, plant it. I've already got my label organized. This is a mum that I propagated. It's a purple daisy mum that I took cuttings of from home. This is a very hardy variety. It's called Purple Mist. Not available on the market right now, but I dug up some. When I pinched my plants, I rooted the cuttings. This is a fabulous, fabulous daylily. I took one of these home. It's called Water Dragon, and it's got the little marker in it, so it's half price. So that's gorgeous. That's July. So we've got September, early October, October, early November, July, August. This actually repeat blooms. The peony is June. This is a cranesbill geranium. That's late May and June. Then I added back here in this space, I added this fabulous Persicaria. It's called Blackfield. I have it at home. This blooms for 3 months. It's amazing. In the foreground, I added an antique mum. It's called My Kyo, and it has a little button flower. Again, it's still small because I rooted the cuttings. Over here, I'm adding a new mum. This one was discovered on Long Island by one of our suppliers, and they named it Tequila Sunrise. So you think to yourself, why would you bother doing a project like this? Well, you can look at this garden right now and say, the Asclepias tuberosa, the butterfly weed is done, the yarrow is done, the cranesbills are done, and we need color out here. Plus, we need flowers for cutting. The final thing that I will tell you about a renovation at this time of year is you want to put in bulbs. And if you have voles or deer, you want to add Repellex systemic, which is a granular that gets moved up into the bulb, makes the bulb taste like hot pepper. And so that just makes it so you can plant tulips again. However, these are what are called species tulips. Look at how tiny the bulbs are, okay? So what I did was I took a trowel, I softened up an area, added some compost and ProGrow, and placed the 10 bulbs that are in this package in a little cluster right here. Now, these are small, short, perennial species tulips. I'm going to plant another little patch of them right here behind this mum, because when this bulb is blooming, the mum probably won't even have very many leaves at all. Behind the daylily, I'm going to plant a cluster of a Negrita parrot tulip. That's a May bloomer. The daylily will have leaves, but there won't be any flowers over here. And then between the mum and the willow leaf sunflower, I'm going to plant 3 of this really cool ornithogalum. People look at this and they go, oh, Star of Bethlehem, that's really weedy. This is Ornithogalum ponticum sochi, and I have this at home. The flowers come up this high, they're white, they're great for cutting, they bloom in late June and early July. So again, there won't be color over here. So we're going to have Ponticum sochi, the ornithogalum, blooming in a cluster. There's 3 in a bag. I'm going to put 6 in right here. And that way we're doubling up the color in this little garden bed using bulbs, using succession of bloom. And we're doing this little area in just a few hours on an afternoon. So if you say to yourself, oh, you know, it's October, I don't have any energy left, just pick a section. Work on one little section. And what you're going to find next spring, you're going to walk out and you're going to go, well, look at that. I've got bulbs and I've got fall color, and isn't this the best thing ever? Plus, I get to take the other half of the peony home. So this is a great time to plant. The ground is warm. The sky is blue, the air is cool. Come on in and get some plants for your garden and work on a quick weekend project. This is Nancy from Natureworks saying, I'll see you at the garden center. Bye-bye.